Hello YouTubers, Skip Wilson here. Back in '97 I bought a Pontiac Firebird and it came with a alarm system installed, which was a dealer option apparently, although it wasn't really an option. They just did it whether I liked it or not. And ever since then I've hated this system. It locks the doors automatically, which up until that point I thought I was intelligent enough to figure out on my own, but apparently GM doesn't look at it that way. But the problem with this thing, in addition to locking me out a couple of times with the engine running, is that it's old. I have no idea where to find the doggone thing, and the fobs are wearing out, and I've been unable to find for years replacement fobs that actually work. In addition to that, the dealer installed incorrectly some of the functions on this thing, including the programming or the instructions on programming a new fob, which don't work. So I hated this thing and I wanted to get rid of it, but I never could find the damn thing. But thanks to a couple of videos here I've seen on MainJet produce an excellent video on the programming of the functions of this thing. And so I'm going to include that here with the rest of this video. And recently I had stumbled across a GM Goodwrench service manual for the VSS systems. So I'm going to put that here on the video page by page. If anybody needs to find wiring diagrams or actually figure out how this troubleshooting this thing works, it's available here on this video. This is what the thing looks like out of the box from GM. Of course, you get the service module, which is the black box. The little black box is the shock sensor, which has a little dial on the side where you can turn up and down the sensitivity. The siren, of course, which annoys the neighbors. And if that wire, for example, is cut or defective to the siren, to disable it, the whole system will shut the car down and you're done driving till you fix it. Of course, the fobs GM knows nothing about them. They're impossible to get. Although I found that's not true. So this is buried up underneath the dash, and MainJet has shown us in his installation what it looks like and how to get in there and service it. The rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. It's the internals of the GM service manual. And one of the issues that I had with this alarm system was the valet switch, which allows you to disable the alarm so the valets don't lock themselves out. Never worked. According to the dealer, you push the little red flashing LED and it puts it in valet mode. Well, that isn't the fact, because there was no switch there. It was just an LED. And here recently, when I had to get under there to find a broken wire, it's an unrelated issue, I discovered that the LED light, which was always a mystery to me, had 3 wires and only 2 of them were hooked up. The third wire was just taped off. So there was never any valet switch involved. And so that prompted me to really get to the bottom of this thing before it failed and left me completely in the weeds without a car. And so I found that I'm just going to add another switch somewhere. You can't get you can get an LED lit switch system, but they're big and bulky. So I'm just going to add a little tiny switch underneath the LED to put it in valet mode and be able to make that a useful function. And someday, if I get under the dash again and have an occasion to dig around in these wires, I'm going to try resetting this according to MainJet's video. What he has there is the function where it just works manually and nothing's automatic. The doors don't lock and unlock unless you want them to. So when you push the arm button, the alarm's armed, and when you push the disarm button, it's disarmed, and that's the end of it. And that's the way I'd like this one to work, but I have not had a chance to get in there and verify any of those functions. I have seen a couple of pictures, however, of the interior of this thing, and some don't have the dip switches. They just have soldered wires making the on-off connection between those pads. So that remains to be seen. Hope this is helpful to anybody that has to dig into one of these things and get them working again, or get them out of there. A bunch of wires you're going to have to deal with, so have fun. In stumbling around for my research on the system, looking for new fobs, I found this information from Code Alarm, which lists the model number necessary to work with this system, and they're actually available on Amazon. I did not get one. I already have some new fobs that I found on eBay, the last two on the planet, but hopefully they'll work. Hope this helps you guys. Good luck and goodbye. Thought I'd add a footnote here as a mini review on the FilmForth editing. This is the first time I've really published anything using FilmForth. It's a pretty nice little program. It's fairly simple to use to the extent that any video editing program could be. But one thing that I had a problem with, I'm using the free version here, and you got the watermark, which is not really very obtrusive. It's down there in the corner and can be ignored. I'd like to get rid of it, so I'm willing to pay the bucks. But the problem with this thing is, after I used it a few times, it quit functioning correctly. I could not save any more videos, and that's not supposed to be the case with FilmForth. You're supposed to use it indefinitely if you want to put up with the watermark. So before spending $100 on a program that breaks after a few tries, I tried contacting FilmForth to ask them what the resolution is, and they never answered me. So I don't know. I guess I'll stick with the free version until they get around to answering my email telling me what's wrong with the thing.